All right, we got the gauges going. We got everything up and running. We're back again with another game of the week preview. What's good, Knicks Nation? And welcome to Toronto's Nation out there. I know you're all tapping in as well because your guy Will Lou is up here. We're about to get into it, man, because we got a big game tomorrow. Quarterfinals. I can't even speak right, Will. Can't even speak right. We got the quarterfinals for the NBA Cup tomorrow between the New York Knicks and the Toronto Raptors. And the New York Knicks are heading up to T-Dot to Scotia Bank Arena to go take on the Raptors. They will be without our guy RJ, but Quick I know is looking for revenge, trying to get his comeback against the New York Knicks. So make sure to stay locked in, tapped in, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. With me on the other side is my guy, Will Lou. You know where he's at, man. The Hello Welcome podcast is a phenomenal podcast if you love to listen about the Toronto Raptors and NBA around the league. So make sure to stay tapped in, man. We're doing the damn thing over here. Will, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? It's been a minute. You guys don't even understand, man. This NBA Cup game, this is the biggest game in Raptors for like the last 3 years at least, man. You don't understand. Like this random game of December, like this means a lot to us right now. So it's good. It's good to talk to you, man.
Hey, man, it's good to talk to you as always. I always enjoy our conversations, man. And hey, it's a big thing for the Knicks as well. I mean, look, I feel like every year the NBA Cup is just getting more and more prominence throughout the league. You know, it'll be some while until it really, catches true fire. And, I was listening to Kevin O'Connor talk about it. And there's two things I want to talk about from that show. Shout out to our guy, Kevin O'Connor, who's been on KFTV, friend of the program. All right. He said it right. Once a team wins both the cup and the finals in the same year, then it's going to start bringing things around. I do agree with that. Second thing, because you got a shout on that show, Will. I was like, that's my guy. He's getting a shout out. And so J.E. Skeets, who's on the show with KOC, said that you're a hooper, man. Said that you got a jumper.
That makes sense. Yeah, we had Skeets up in Toronto. Where that's home for him. I mean, I know he's been an American basically for the last decade, but yeah, he came up to Toronto and the first thing he said was, which basketball runs can we get into? So we got him into 2 of our 3 weekly runs. The only reason he couldn't come to the third was he had some sort of thing to do in a different city or whatever. But now Skeets is a hooper too, man. Skeets is like a little Rajon Rondo-esque, I mean, a true point guard pushing the pace, But yeah, I hit a couple jumpers from Skeets' passes, so that's about all I can do in basketball.
So you're saying you're ready to take Grady's spot on the roster because you're knocking down shots at this point?
Hey, that spot's open right now. With all due respect to my man Grady, who we will have for an interview in an upcoming episode soon.
Let's go.
We had a great time hanging out with him for 5 hours, but he's leaving that spot open right now because ever since RJ went down, and I know for Knicks fans, you guys are very familiar with RJ. Wouldn't surprise you guys to know RJ's averaging 20 points again. This is just what he does no matter what. But on better efficiency, mind you. But ever since he went down, the Raptors' offense has been terrible. Literally 8 games since he's gone out, Raptors are 30th in offense. And part of that is because none of the replacements at shooting guard, Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, none of these guys are even giving you close to 20 points. They might not combine for 20 points. So, yeah, man, all due respect to Grady, but you know what I mean? He's got to step up, especially in these important games.
Okay, well, let's usually I start off with asking you about a Knicks question, but let's roll in with the Raptors questions right now then. So RJ has been leading the way for this team, as what it sounds like that you're telling me, and on high efficiency, which is great to hear. Glad that he's doing well in his hometown. What has it been like for the Raptors experience so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a roller coaster. So this team starts 1-4, right? At that point, they had one of the worst defenses in the league. They had 2 games in a row where against San Antonio and Houston, where the other team got more than double the amount of rebounds as the Raptors. It was crazy, and it was the team basically needed to sort of look themselves in the mirror and say, look, if we want to be serious this year and not tank, we got to step up. And after that 1-4 start, they rip off this ridiculous 13 wins out of 14 stretch where they only lost 1 game in that stretch, and that was second half of back-to-back against Philadelphia, whatever. Philly's a good team. So, yeah, they suddenly rip off this crazy run, and that includes 9 straight wins at that point too. And so people were really excited about the team, and that's the reason why the Raptors are in the Cup is they actually went 4-0. Turns out the group was kind of easy. Cleveland, super soft. I mean, Knicks fans know that. The Cavs, extra soft this year.
Yeah, they are.
bro, the Raptors have already beaten them 3 times. They have no pride. Um, but like Indiana, Washington, they've had some easier opponents in this cup, but nevertheless, like this has been a really good like run for the Raptors until recently, where they've now hit a stretch where they've lost 5 of 6. Some of that is injury related. RJ going down, like I said, has really hurt the offense. Brandon Ingram's also really slowed down. Ingram actually got off to a really good start for the Toronto Raptors. Was hitting like 60% on mid range jumpers. Like it was
Wow.
actually beautiful to watch him play basketball. And then I think Scotty Barnes has been like by far the Raptors' best player in the season. He's sort of taken a step up across the board, especially offensively. They've kind of reduced his role, but he's got more efficient. Like, that kind of happens a little bit too. But so they had kind of like a three-headed thing where like all three of those guys can give you 20. But since RJ's gone down, like, and Brandon sort of slowed down a little bit too, Raptors suddenly, all of a sudden, you find them in this space where, I mean, the Raptors just played the Knicks, last weekend, and the Knicks, kind of led easily the entire way. McBride obviously had those 4 threes in the first quarter. So the Raptors are kind of losing their swagger a little bit, but they also have like something there. You know what I mean? Like they've shown that they can rip off wins basically for a whole month. So it's been a roller coaster, man.
Roller coaster indeed. And so with the Raptors going through the injury bug right now and, hoping to get guys back, like when do you think RJ is going to be back, man, for the team?
Man, so it was supposed to be like a day-to-day thing because he like twisted his knee on like a fast break kind of situation, left the game immediately. We're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? The next day though, they come in, they're like, yo, it's actually gonna be okay. He's day to day. We're like, oh okay, wow, that's great. Like that means he's gonna be back. Maybe he misses 1 or 2 games. So he's been out for like a week and a half now. And then
Mm,
they just gave the update this morning that RJ has got PRP injections into the knee, and they're gonna check back in a week. So
wow.
um, yeah, that's never a good sign when you hear PRP. And RJ's a pretty durable player, you know what I mean? Like, so, he's not a guy who like wants to sort of sit out at all. So yeah, RJ's not going to factor in tomorrow, that's for sure.
Okay. So where I was going to with this question is, even with the injuries that you've been dealing with for this roster, what's the expectations for the Raptors this season? Because, last year was a down year.
Mm,
You had a lot of injuries last year too.
for sure.
But what is the expectation for this year?
Man, it's funny because like we were kind of asking ourselves that same question, right? Because the Raptors, they didn't really have that active of an offseason, but realistically, they kind of added Brandon Ingram like last year at the trade deadline with the intention of having him for this season. So even though that wasn't an offseason addition, that's still a pretty big one, especially in Toronto. Not a lot of guys choose to come to Toronto like that. Um, and then aside from that though, then they go ahead and they let go of Masai. They had another year on his contract, but they just basically punted him out the door. They gave the job to the next man, Bobby Webster, and he's been there for a long time too. But it's kind of his ship to run now. And
Mm.
I think there's like this feeling for the team that like they got to show that they're worth keeping around. You know what I mean? And like they need something. The last couple of years for the Raps, like they've been struggling, they've been tanking. But like with tanking, like they still didn't get good picks. You know what I mean? Like Grady Dick was a 13th pick. They got Colin Murray Boyles in the draft this year. He was a ninth pick. Like usually, if you tank for 2 years, you're hoping for like a top 5 pick at least one time. You didn't really get that. So I think this team is like, just slightly over the luxury tax. Like they could probably get under it. They definitely will get under it. They can, move a couple salaries. That's not really an issue. The issue is like they got to show that they're actually worth keeping as is. Otherwise, I think that this team has kind of been building towards something and they got to show something for it, right? But and that's the good thing with the fact that they're 15-10 right now. It's like, you know what? They actually did show for at least a stretch there and a solid stretch. Again, 13 wins out of 14 is nothing to overlook, but they got to show that there's something here. And, to some degree there is, but if you catch them on the wrong night, like recently, you'll see why this team is still very similar to the last couple of years where they've been losing 50 games.
So do you think this team is worth keeping around then?
Uh, I think in a healthy Eastern Conference, like this is still not a top 6 team.
Mm.
So in that sense, probably not. But at the same time, you got to think about what opportunities are available to them. Like I think Ingram was a step in the right direction. Like they definitely needed more scores. They kind of need one more score right now with RJ. Like when RJ's playing well, then you're like, okay, well that's another score. But I don't necessarily want to live and die by that. And the Raptors still do have all their picks. If they want to make a move, they have big salaries that can sort of move around. The thing is, they tied in a lot of long-term money with IQ and with Jakob Poeltl, and I don't think either of those guys are like so valuable where they're like outperforming their contracts.
Mm.
So it's kind of messy. I don't know. Ask me this question at the year end, basically, because I think for right now, I'm actually pretty optimistic. I actually like how they've been playing so far, but they gotta prove again that like this is real and not just a hot month.
So with the Knicks Nation, thank you all for tuning in for another Game of the Week preview. With me on the other side is my guy Will. Will, he covers the Toronto Raptors for the Hello Welcome podcast. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. All right, so let me ask you this now. Now that we got through the Toronto Raptors portion, what do you think about my Knicks, man? Is this a championship contender team or what?
Of course, you guys should be a championship contending team. Look at the talent you guys have over there, man. I don't know. Maybe if you guys are in it day to day, you go with the ups and downs. You may not appreciate it, but from afar, I look at the Knicks. I'm like, I mean, our Raptors' very own head coach, Darko Rakovic, had to come to your city and be like, guys, this is an MVP candidate. Like, why don't we even get talk about Jalen Brunson like he's an MVP candidate, right? Like, definitely one of the toughest scorers, and he could score at a playoff level, which is really rare for small guards like that. Bridges, OG. I mean, we love OG in Toronto. You guys might even love OG more than we love them in Toronto.
We
Honestly,
love
like,
OG around here, man.
is
Love
OG
him.
the most popular Nick besides Brunson? Like,
Ooh, probably.
yeah,
Like, let's see, because I know, like, I like Josh Hart. I know fans
sure,
like it could be split amongst Josh Bridges. He got a lot of flack last year for like a up and down performance.
yeah, the five
OG though, I
picks,
feel like gets a lot. Oh yeah, OG gets a lot of love, man. Cat is Cat's also like
yeah,
that's that,
yeah. That's
that's
a whole can of worms.
that's
Yeah,
a whole category in and of itself. Maybe Deuce, but no, I'd go with OG, man. OG is definitely the second most loved Nick, just because like he goes out there, the defense you already know is
yeah.
there, but scoring wise, just super efficient right now, hyper
Oh yeah,
efficient, honestly.
bro. All he does is hit threes and dunk the ball. Like it's you can't not be
There you
efficient
go.
when you play like that. It's like I don't want to call him a role player because that feels rude. Like, but like he's so good at sort of like what he does, and of course on defense, you know what he does too. So yeah, man, I feel like you guys are. I mean, obviously you changed the head coach. You know, if you weren't going to change the roster that much, you kind of needed to change the head coach a little bit, play a little bit faster, be a little less predictable, maybe shoot more threes just in general. Because when you look at the pieces there, this should be a really good offense. And more than anything else, like even without just what the talent is on paper, the East sucks, man. Like the East is not that good. I actually did look through your schedule because I wasn't tapping in terms of like every game watching the Knicks, but I did look at it and I'm like, you know what? You guys haven't been tested going out west yet. That's the
No, not
question I
yet.
would have. You know what I mean? Because you've been mostly staying in the Eastern Conference, and the East has a lot of easy wins. I know that because that's what the Raptors kind of got a lot of their record on too. But no, man, I fully expect the Knicks to be representing the Eastern Conference in June. Like, talent wise, I mean, I guess the Cavs were supposed to be up there with you, but again, like the Cavs are
They're
so
not even close,
soft.
man. They're not even close. They
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 suck.
are they are softer than Charmin right now, man.
Yeah.
It's actually quite comical. I'm looking forward to the Detroit Pistons matchup between
Sure.
the
Okay.
Knicks and them, just because they got some bad blood for after the postseason
Hey.
last year. So I'm very curious to see how that one comes
That's fair.
about. But yeah, man, I'm with you that this should be it's a good year for the Knicks. I mean, especially with how everyone talks about Celtics, Pacers being down and out right now, going
Mm.
through their changes or with the injury bug. It's a good chance for the Knicks right now to go make it, man. So looking forward to see what they can do and coming out the East. But big challenge will be for tomorrow against the Toronto Raptors. I guess if looking, the last thing I'll ask you
Mm.
about the Knicks is you say shooting more threes. I mean, I'm we're shooting a lot of threes, man. We're shooting a lot of
Yeah,
threes.
yeah, yeah.
It's on some nights, man. I'm just like, can we just pull back and just a little bit more, just diversify a little bit, just diversify.
Yeah.
But do you think like shooting all these threes is actually going to lead to like I know Boston did it. They
Mm.
won a chip. Like,
Yeah.
should a lot of teams be leaning into like shooting a lot of threes at this point? I know the math is the math, but it's a lot, man.
So, I mean, that's a good question because you guys saw the downside of that last year in the playoffs, right? Like all those like Celtics collapses, like all they did was shoot dumb threes and never attack the paint, never get rebounds, and then you guys were able to make like two huge comebacks and ultimately beat them. It's like, um, I know people like look at the Tatum injury and that's so unfortunate. That's a great player going down, but like you guys were beating them, like even in that game, right? So,
Yeah.
I think that like there is a danger to sort of that type of strategy. One thing I think for the Knicks is like if I had to pick out like weaknesses, it's just like there's not a lot of great ball handlers or like huge threats off the dribble, right? It's
Yeah.
obviously Jalen is incredible at that. But once Cat pump fakes and starts driving, it starts becoming an adventure. He also, I mean, you never know. You get in the playoff series, Cat might pick up 2 dumb fouls in the first quarter, and all of a sudden your rotations are screwed up. Again, like as a Knicks fan, you guys already know this, but no, there's just not a lot of guys that are like able to sort of slash that great. And Bridges feels like he can slash to get to like a mid range jumper, and an OG kind of a bull in the china shop. Like he can get there and dunk the ball. That's great, but sometimes he might stumble and lose his balance a little bit. But um, one way to combat that though, and just be more efficient, is just to like skip that altogether and just rely on the 3 ball. But I do hear you though. I do hear you. Like if you guys can get one more, I guess ball handler wise, you guys did get like Jordan Clarkson. But again,
Yep.
he's just a guy who's getting his own offense. So you know what I mean. Like he's again, that might be part of the reason why you guys are shooting more threes anyways, just because he's never turned down a single shot in his life.
There's
So
not a shot that my man doesn't like, man. I'm all for it. Okay, I'm all for the Jordan Clarkson experience. I know that CP and everybody likes to call him Cardiac Clarkson, and he's a tough
uh,
guy to stomach. Well, let me tell you about stomaching some stuff. Will, the holidays are here, which means gatherings, dinners, celebrations, and a lot of us, a couple of drinks, you know?
sure.
But we all still have things to do the next morning. Workouts, errands, work, family commitments. That's why I use Z-Biotics, man. Pre-alcohol probiotic drink. This is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic designed by PhD scientists. Here's the science. When you drink, your body creates an unwanted byproduct in the gut. Z-Biotics is engineered to break that byproduct down so you can wake up feeling good and ready to go. Just make it your first drink of the night. Take care of yourself, hydrate, and you're setting yourself up for a better tomorrow. I used it before a recent night out, and the next morning I was up early, got my workout in, got work done, no issues. It made a noticeable difference. So if you want to feel your best during the busiest time of the year, grab some Z-Biotics. Go to zbiotics.com/KFTV and use code KFTV for 15% off your first order. That's zbiotics.com/KFTV. Make the most of every toast this holiday season. Just don't forget Z-Biotics. All right. There we go, man. Had to go through Z-Biotics for a bit. Let's get to this game, Will. Let's get into the big discussion right now because I'm looking forward to this matchup, man. And I'm very curious after BI said, want to come back with revenge. You got to think about how the last game
Mm,
went. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you think it's going to be I would hate to say do you think it's going to be like the
man.
same as last time, but what
Mm.
are you looking for from the Raptors in this matchup?
Well, I mean, first off, the Raptors need a bounce back win, like really badly. Not just against the Knicks, but just in general, right? Like they've lost 5 of 6. They kind of lost the rhythm a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, my heart kind of sank a little bit when I saw that it was the Knicks that was the matchup for the Raps, because the Raps like legit were really comfortable in the NBA like group stages. Like it was pretty easy games, but once I saw the Knicks, I was like, man, when was the last time the Raptors beat the Knicks? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys have kind of owned this matchup. And I understand, like, regular season wise, like, guys are going to be in and out of the lineup. But, like, every time I walk into a Knicks game, I feel like the Raptors are down and trying to play from behind. Um, I think defensively, where it worries me is the reason why the Raptors, like, put up no fight at all in New York was that was definitely Brandon Ingram's worst game of the season in New York. I mean, Bridges did a great job defensively. Credit to him. You know, he obviously is a good defender, but, like, 4 of 11 for Bi. Like if that happens, like Raptors have no chance to sort of play in this game. Brandon's since snapped out of it. Like last game, I mean Celtics threw a lot at Brandon Ingram. He still had 30 points. Like it was like tough contested shots. Like that's what he does, right? That's legit what he does. And
Hmm.
I'm hoping coming off of rest and stuff like that like he can sort of replicate similar to that. But you guys have good matchups, right? Because Toronto's big advantages, at least in the half court, are the big wings that they play through, right? With Brandon on one side and then Scotty Barnes. Well, Scotty's biggest strength is the fact that he's like just super strong and he's able to sort of like bully to his spots. Unfortunately, OG is a really good matchup for that because OG again is probably one of the strongest wing defenders in the league. And then Brandon Ingram's biggest advantage is his length to shoot over the top, right? He's very good. Even if you beat him to the spot, whatever, as a defender, he could still rise up and shoot over you. Thing is, I mean, Bridges is like, very spindly armed. He's able to contest. So, I think the Raptors got to be really creative. They got to definitely get on the fast break against you guys. If again, if there's one thing you can say about the Knicks, like, I don't feel like you guys are like shut down defensively. It's like you can run on this team. Um, you could again like just like even just get on the fast break. It depends on where your bigs are and stuff like that too. So and just in general, like the backcourt is kind of small. That's not gonna hurt you as much right now, just because without RJ, there's not a lot of good drivers on the team. Even IQ, and I know IQ definitely gets up for these Knicks games. Like he's obviously a former Knick, beloved Knick, and everything like that. But um, even for IQ, like I don't feel like the strongest strength for him is driving and finishing at the basket. It's mostly like the pull up threes and the floater.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, but I mean the Raptors got to get on the fast break as much as possible. And to be fair to them, like that's what they do really well. Like they are, I think fourth in the NBA in terms of most points in transition right now, and they were higher than that to start the season. So this is a team that likes to get into the ball, force turnovers, and get out the other way. The tough thing is like I don't know, can the Raptors actually pressure Jalen Brunson that much? I mean, Jalen Brunson is pretty experienced, man. It's not
Yeah,
exactly
man.
like you're just gonna poke the ball from Jalen Brunson and go the other way. So
Right. No, that's going to be a tough matchup for the Raptors. But, speaking on the fast breaks here, fast break conversation for this game, I mean, Toronto right now, I'm just going through the stats right now. According to NBA.com, I'm going through the stats.
mm,
The Toronto Raptors right now are number one in fast break points scored. They're at 20.4 right now, with the New York Knicks being 16th, and they're averaging 14.7. So, not a team that's going to get out and running and gunning and keep up with that pace. I mean, even in the first matchup between these two teams, Toronto just ran away with it in that category, 25 points to
mm,
11. So that is going to be the biggest concern for this Knicks team. Can they slow teams down in transition is always going to be the question. Currently on the season, they're actually seventh right now. Opponents are only averaging 14.3 points per fast break points scored on them. However, as you point out earlier in the show,
mm.
they haven't really been tested yet. You know what I mean? So like when you're
Yeah,
playing against the teams like the Hornets and stuff like that, like
hey,
it's not really good to test you. But
the
when we
Hornets
saw,
have beat the Raptors twice somehow. I can't believe they gave the Hornets 2 of their 6 wins, man. I'm sick by that, but
oh
whatever.
man, the Hornets are. Whew. Hey man, if I was the owner of that team, I'm trading LaMelo no matter what. But that's another
Oh,
story.
yeah, for sure, 100%.
No matter what. But look, I think for this matchup, indeed, like quickly is a guy that wants to get out in transition. I mean, your two wings want to get out in transition, so it's just going to be a
Mm-hmm.
tough thing. And I mean, when that game got back into balance, it was because the Raptors just got back out there and running.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if the Raptors get out in transition early and start putting the Knicks on their heels, that may go to the Raptors' favor. The other thing the Knicks would just have a tough time guarding is 3-point shooting, man. And I mean, that's the other
Mm.
thing when you go back to that matchup. Like at one point during that game, the Raptors just went on a heater from downtown.
Yep.
Obviously, it cooled off and they shot below 30% from downtown. But the thing is that any team that the Knicks have played, they just allow them to look like, prime Golden State Warriors. So that's going to
Mm.
be my biggest thing is can the Knicks slow down anybody defensively from behind the arc. And if the Toronto Raptors just get into a groove, it could be between those two categories, could be a long night for New York.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the Knicks' perspective, you guys got to get on the offensive glass, which you guys do a decent job of with Josh Hart and definitely with Mitchell Robinson.
Hmm.
Those two guys definitely like owned the glass against the Raptors last time. The Raptors are a little bit small, and Jakob Poeltl's been dealing with this bad back, so he doesn't even play back to backs anymore. But basically, it's like it just changes. Like some days he wakes up and his back's good, and he looks like a really good player. But a lot of times he honestly looks like a backup quality player when his back is acting up. So.
Mm.
If you guys get into the offensive glass, that's a great way to like suppress the transition game for Toronto. I think the other part too is the Raptors don't really shoot a lot of threes. If you look at the attempts, the Raptors got to be bottom five in terms of attempts per game from three. Now they've been shooting more threes recently, just because with RJ out the lineup, the guys who he's getting replaced by are largely 3-point shooters. But those guys aren't really making too many of their shots right now. But you never know. Like back in Toronto with the home crowd, the energy, like guys can step up. But that's one of the things too is like Toronto has like the wild card I think for this matchup is because RJ's not available and he's the starter. Like Raptors have tried a whole bunch of different options in the starting five. It's been Jacoby Walter, who's a second-year player recently. Ochai Baji kind of got some time there too. Um, they could choose to play bigger, which I actually wouldn't mind to see them do. So, like, they can sort of play around with the matchups. But I think ultimately, like, they probably want to get a good on-ball defender in there at the two, to sort of throw at Brunson because I don't think IQ is going to be up for that type of matchup defensively. So. That's maybe the wild card that Darko has. Like he could choose a lot of other options, and honestly, the Raptors bench is, actually been pretty good on this season. They're on they're also low cold right now, but generally speaking, Jamal Shed's been a big difference maker for them, and then Sandro Mamukelashvili, kind of like an unknown quality until this year, but he's actually been a huge factor. And then I think Colin Murray Boyle's the rookie. He had a really good game against the Knicks last time,
He did.
so I'm looking forward to seeing him do that again.
Yeah, and they did a good job. I mean, just generating turnovers. I mean, the Raptors are, a
Exactly.
top
Yeah.
10 team in generating turnovers now. Might not be against Brunson per se, but, that's another way that the Raptors can get into this game and stay, afloat. I mean, they are 11th right now when it comes to points off of turnovers. So that's another matchup that's another like key area I'm looking at in this game, man. It should be a fun one. I'm really just
Yeah.
expecting a fast-paced game, honestly, between these two
Mhm.
teams. And it'll be I mean I've seen that a couple of times from the Knicks so far where they're willing to get up and just play that up tempo type pace. For parts of the Magic game, they were more than willing to do that. Now they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns, who, not necessarily the fastest guy on the court, but he's been
Mhm.
making a concerted effort to be part of that Mike Brown philosophy of just, racing up the court, getting to your position, and just, quick decision making. So if Cat's not playing, I would expect more of the same
Mhm.
tomorrow. If Cat is playing, I'd see a little bit more up and down where there's going to be stretches where the Knicks are willing to play at a high tempo, and then other moments where Cat isn't. So I guess that's the biggest thing for tomorrow
Mhm.
with Deuce McBride and Karl Anthony Towns as TBDs as of right
Oh.
now of
Oh,
what's
word.
yeah. So as of who's going to be out there, that's the other wrench in this schematic. You guys don't have RJ, Cat, TBD.
Damn.
I know McBride got some MRIs today, so it's going to be questionable as to who's going to be out there, or not
Mhm.
who's going to be out there, but like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what the roster is going to be looking like for tomorrow.
Wait. So who's gonna start for Cat then? If
It would
like who?
probably be Mitchell Robinson.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting because that might be the big swing factor there. If Mitchell Robinson is able to get on the offensive glass and dominate, which a lot of times he does, like then the Raptors might not be able to run. But at the same time, if Robinson's on the floor, I could see the Raptors running a lot on him. So yeah.
Mm. Do you think that would bode well for Jakob Poeltl even with his injury?
Again, it's weird because legit, he's talked about it. Some days he wakes up and his back's feeling fine, and some days like he's like really struggling to move around. It's because he's not really a fast break guy either. But what the Raptors do well in the fast break isn't necessarily even just like they don't have like a John Wall who's like end to end or like a Westbrook end to end type of guy. But like what they do is they do an amazing job of when they rebound, they just hit that first pass out and they push themselves into like, and they'll run on 4-on-3, they'll push 3-on-2, you know what I mean? And they'll just try to like make that first pass out. Like that first guy who gets the rebound never dribbles.
Mm.
I think Scotty's in particular really good at that too. But yeah, if the Raptors get on the fast break like that, if Raptors hit the threes, if they keep the defensive glass clean, like I think they have a really good chance here, even against the Knicks team that's pretty well built to beat the Raptors. But that's a lot of ifs right now because this team's also kind of young. They're inconsistent. Like the last game, they were down 18 at halftime to the Celtics, and then they went on a 30-8 run. So like you never know what this team's gonna do. You know what I mean? Like so, yeah,
It
yeah.
it'll be a tough one. And speaking about centers, actually, now that I think about it, Porty did get minutes. He's our third string
Okay.
center. I know we have Gerson Yabusele. Sometimes he gets out there and plays the small ball five, but Porty was in there yesterday against the Orlando Magic and did a solid job. So he was a really good
Mm,
backup to Mitchell Robinson. He likes to hustle and get up and down the court. So
mm,
if you're talking about Raptors trying to take advantage of Mitchell Robinson, if Huck gets out there, Huck is more than willing to bolt up the floor and keep up with that pace as well. So that'll be a good
mm.
one. And last thing before we get to our key matchups is points in the paint, man. Because if you're thinking about bigs, guys are getting downhill. I don't know how the Raptors are doing it, but the Raptors are six right now when it comes to scoring in the paint. I mean, I know RJ is a big key factor to that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the other thing. And the Knicks, they've gotten better. Like on the season, like they're good at guarding according to the numbers. Once again, goes back to the quality of the opponent. But when you go to cleaning the glass and seeing who's getting to the rim, uh, New York is still also actually wow, they've actually jumped. New York has actually jumped and actually is doing a
Okay.
decent job while guarding the rim. Look at that, man. Look at that. Making some progress around here. Making some progress. So that'll be a good matchup, though. That'll be a good matchup considering that's where the Raptors like to get their points.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of Raptors are a heavy ball movement team. Like they're just generally pretty good passers across the board. Raptors are pretty much always in that well under Darko, the head coach after Nick Nurse. Like the last 3 years with Darko, like they've been like a top 5 assists per game team, even though their offense isn't even that good, like in terms of efficiency wise. But they definitely move the ball really well. And I mean, part of that is also like you're better at points in the paint when you just don't shoot a lot of threes because you're probably gonna have to like where else are you gonna play, man? Only in the mid range. You know what
True.
I mean? So, but they do a good job of moving the ball around. Scotty's definitely the biggest driver of just getting to the basket, especially with RJ out. But Jakob is like a pretty delicate finisher around the basket, like very crafty, like just the most fundamental big you've seen. Again, when he's healthy. And then I guess Brandon it gets the hoop a couple of times too, but he's been up and down too. So, but I mean, primarily when Brandon's hot, he's mostly hitting jumpers more than driving.
Okay. Okay. So it's the Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for another game of the week preview. With me on the other side is my guy, Will Lou. He covers the Toronto Raptors for the Hello Welcome podcast. Make sure that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Shout out to some of our franchise channel members. I see Mellow Mike in here. Shout out to you. I see Wise Guy in here as well. Shout out to you guys for tapping in as always. S. Gomez, appreciate you for being in here too. All right, man. Let's keep this show rolling. I also see you, Zach. Appreciate you for being in here as well. All right, let's get to our key matchup, man. You know, there's
All right.
two. I mean, it's not really two positions. It's one position. Two players for both teams I was looking at. It was either going to be the Mikal Bridges one versus the Brandon Ingram one, or the OG versus Scotty Barnes. I decided to go with OG Anunoby going against Scotty Barnes, man. You talked about it. Scotty is the just more efficient, better scorer on that team, man. Just producing at a high level for Toronto.
Yeah.
OG going against his former teammate, man. And I feel like this is where it's going to be the make or break for this team. We didn't have OG last time that we played.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking to see how OG is ready to get back into it, see a fellow, former teammate and battle this one. So you know how OG is defensively, man. I think
Oh,
if he's able to
special.
stop if he stops Scotty from getting to his points, his places on the court, then it's going
Yeah.
to be a difficult time for Toronto really staying in this ball game.
No, for sure. I mean, like again, like Scotty is the best Raptor. He's been playing the best basketball recently as well. The only thing with Scotty, he's not a high volume kind of scorer. Like he's like very liable to give you an efficient 20 versus like 30 and kind of explode from there. But yeah, a lot of what Scotty does well is well, first off, right now, he's actually shooting the three much better than he ever has, really. I think he's still above 40% from three on the season. So he's been mixing those in, but he's definitely not a high volume 3-point shooter. Last year he developed a bit of a mid range. He's got a decent touch on those. I wouldn't be surprised if OG cuts him off a couple times that he has to go to the mid range. But Scotty does a great job of like getting downhill and using his strength. He's kind of like not gonna burst past you, but he's like strong, he's long, and he gets angles and he turns the corner on guys a lot. That's where I think OG, as his former teammate, I mean, they played 2 seasons together. Well, 3 seasons actually. They know how to sort of he'll know sort of what to do with that. But at the same time, Scotty's played like this is the best he's played in all 5 seasons of his career so far. I think he has a strong case for the All Star game for the second time. Like this would be like the matchup. I feel like, and I think the tricky thing with Scotty too is like as much as he's like able to score, like he mostly wants to pass and distribute, and especially when he drives and there's extra attention. If there's anybody coming over to help OG on these drives, like Scotty's very good at either feeding his fellow big down low or kicking it out for threes. So yeah, it's gonna be really difficult to ask anybody to win the offensive matchup against OG, who's such a good defender. But I think for Scotty, like if he wants to sort of like continue and take this next step in the season and again make some noise for himself, like he has to win this matchup and at least give you 20 points with like 8 assists type of thing, and then hope Brandon's also hitting his shots because right now the rest of the Raptors, I'm not gonna lie to you, you'll see tomorrow, like if it's not Brandon or Scotty right now, the other guys you don't have to worry about as much.
Hurt my feelings with IQ, man. That was my guy, man, when he was on this team. I love
Oh,
the way IQ was playing, but
you don't understand. You don't understand. IQ's a controversial figure. IQ's like our cat
I
right now.
see
So
that.
yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, going
People
to
are a little too hard on IQ though. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's you know what it is. It's because we gave up OG for him. Okay, and we all loved OG. So
well, you
he
gave
gotta
up
play.
OG for RJ and Quick, man. You got two guys
That's true.
in return for one.
That's true. That's true. You guys got Precious and Malachi Flynn as well, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where those two guys
I
at?
try to tell you those guys weren't really it, man. I think if you go back, I think I tried to tell you, man. I
You
was like
did.
Precious, aggressive, but I mean, I don't know. The basketball IQ is not strong, and the Malachi was just kind of whatever. So, nice guys though, nice guys. I miss those guys in Toronto, but
I will say
Yeah, I know. I
that
mean, IQ's. I think it's just like, and also like, yo, you got to think about it. Like Raptors for a long time had Kyle Lowry as the point guard, right? So
true.
defensive, gritty. This man will cheat to win a game, basically. Like he'll flop against you. You know what I mean? Like he'll do whatever. Like the ultimate competitor. IQ, not that type of tough type of player. Like he's more skill, more finesse. Like pop behind a screen for a three. And I think for a lot of people, like they're kind of used to a different style. Even like Fred VanVleet was kind of like Fred like or Kyle like. You know what I mean? Like IQ's
Hmm.
just not really like that. And I don't know, but I do feel like he gets unfair hate. Like the other game, he had 30 and people were still hating on him, and I'm like, dude, if you want him to score more than 30, like you're gonna be very disappointed, man. Like, come on, he's fine. He's a nice guy too. I like IQ a lot.
I like IQ, man. It seems like he's getting the Julius Randle treatment as Julius Randle got here in New York
Ooh,
out there. Yeah, that's what I think. That's
you know
it.
what? Hmm, that's
That,
interesting.
that's the comp, man. That's the comp I'm giving you right now. So, and just to touch on the Precious thing, it's hilarious. First year he was
Oh,
on this team, he was like, oh damn, man, like this guy's nice. We wanted him to return.
hmm.
He returns, and it's like then we saw everything you were talking about. I was like, oh, this is this is who you are. All right, cool.
This is
And,
who he
but
is.
here's
Yeah,
the thing now. Here's the thing now. You don't know what you have until it's gone because now we got Yabusele who had a decent game or he had a decent start in the first half yesterday. But now
yeah.
people are looking at Sacramento and be like, yo, Scott Perry, former GM of the New York Knicks, can you help us out here and give Precious back, man? Because
Oh,
I
you
don't
guys
know
want
how.
Precious back?
Yeah,
Oh
after the
wow.
way after how Yabusele has been starting the season, man, it's been like,
Damn, it's
oof,
that bad, huh? All
yeah,
right.
man. I mean,
Hey,
he's not being utilized to what his strengths are, man. So it's a tough watch right now. It's a tough watch.
the answer might be none of these guys. You know what I mean? Like it could be a third option. You know, like you guys are a championship. You guys should be a championship level team. Like no offense, but I don't think Precious or Gershon are like huge contributors to that right now. Like quality wise, I'm just not seeing like it's conference finals, and
Oh
then
no,
like
no, no,
start of
no.
the fourth
We're
quarter,
just
you guys
talking
protect
about
this.
quality depth at this point. That's all we're talking
Exactly.
about,
Yeah,
man.
this is like a
That's all we're asking
serviceable guy.
for.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
our
Yeah.
season's hanging in the balance because of Yabusele and Precious, we
Exactly.
are serious. This thing has seriously gone off the rails, and we got to be looking ourselves in the mirror at what we're trying to do around here. But hey,
Yeah.
man, that is what it is. But you know, I don't even want to think about that right now, man. It's just going to mess my
That's
mental. It's just going to mess.
we both just got to win the next game. That's all. You know what I mean?
We both got to win the next game, trying to protect our mental. And speaking about protecting our mental, people, let me tell you something. Look, life gets real sometimes. Work, family, finances, the constant grind. We talk a lot about basketball stress, but real life stress, that's a different level. And I'll be honest, therapy has helped a lot of people close to me get back on track. Friends, teammates, family. Sometimes you just need someone who can help you sort things out. The only problem? It's hard to find a therapist. It takes forever, and the cost can be crazy. That's why I really like what Rula is doing. Rula makes therapy simple and accessible. They work with the most major insurance plans, and sessions can cost as little as $15. Literally, the price of a quick lunch in the city. They've got over 15,000 licensed therapists, fully vetted, and they match you with someone based on your needs. No guessing, no long wait lists. You get an appointment as soon as the next day. If you've been thinking about therapy or even just curious, Rula removes the excuses. Go to rula.com/KFTV and get started today. That's RULA.com/KFTV. Take the first step, take care of yourself. All right, let's get back at it with Will. Will, before I get you out of here, man, you know, two more things. I mean, the
All right.
Bridges and Ingram matchup is going to be a big one too.
Yeah,
That's
for
why it
sure.
was also up there. And I'm curious to see like what happens to that one because in the first matchup, Ingram didn't shoot well, but is he ready to bounce back and try to, you know, go at Bridges? I mean, dude shot under 60% from the free throw line, shot under 37% from the field, only got 14 points, you
Yeah.
know. And then when you look at what Bridges was doing on the other end, not only was he slowing him down, Bridges had an
Mm-hmm.
efficient 14 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from downtown, and then didn't get to the free throw line, but was getting you assists, steals, blocks, doing everything that you want him to do. Do
Yeah.
you think are you confident in BI coming back and giving a decent game in this one?
I think so. I think he should bounce back. That's Bi's worst game of the season.
Okay.
I think that so for Brandon, he only played 18 games last year, and then he had this like really bad ankle sprain. And also the Raptors were tanking that at the end of the season. They were like, yo, take your time. You know what I mean? Just come back next season for this year. So the good thing for Brandon is he hasn't missed a single game. That's always the concern with him is the durability. Well, it's been a point of pride for him to sort of build his body back up. And if you actually look closely on the bench, like he'll like during timeouts or even when he's on the bench, the trainer will be there like with like resistance bands, like flexing his ankle like constantly. So um yeah, putting that aside, I mean, I think Brandon could do better than that. He has done better than that. He's had some really high highs this year, 37 points to beat, those soft Cleveland Cavaliers again. He had a game winner in Scotiabank Arena. That was probably like the coolest moment of the season so far. I think that extended the Raptors' win streak to 8 games at that point. But he legit just like went 1-on-1 against Pascal Siakam, got to a spot, rose up, and knocked it down. We haven't seen a game winner in Toronto like that in a minute because that was at the buzzer too. Like there's I think the big thing with Brandon is the physicality, like like kind of the tall spindly guys. It's kind of like how like Tony Allen used to be that really tough matchup for Kevin Durant back in the day between like the Grizzlies and the Thunder, because like he would just like, even though he's not tall enough remotely to block the shot, he's like always getting underneath them, swiping the dribble, not letting them get to the certain spots, and then bumping him off the ball. That's the key to sort of slowing down Brandon more than anything else. The teams have also been setting like 2 guys at Brandon like quite a bit, maybe even 3 guys at him. And again, some of that is because the Raptors role players haven't been making their shots, but Brandon's also been a little slow to pass out of those. Like one of the weird stats on the season is he's got, I think, basically as many turnovers as assists, but like basically 1-to-1. It's not good. So sometimes with like additional pressure, he's not really like leveraging that to getting open shots for his teammates. But it should be a really good matchup because I mean, you can say what you want, man. Brandon Ingram's a very talented scorer. Like Raptors haven't had a weapon like this in a long time, and that's as much as one of the biggest reasons why the Raptors have 15 wins right now. It's just because Brandon Ingram's been like, when he's on, like he looks kind of, it's weird because like you could play really good defense against him and you'll still make the shot. Like he's one of those guys.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how Mikal plays against him because Mikal's not really a physical guy, like as you're talking about, somebody who's
Yeah.
going to just, knock his assignment off their block. But I'm looking to see how he just responds and see if he's able to utilize that wingspan again and just slow down BI. Just because, I want to see Bridges continue to improve as the season goes on, and just like
Hmm.
any good offensive matchup that he can just go against is just going to help him as the season progresses. He's been doing a solid job this season, mainly off ball. Like he's not going
Hmm.
to take on all the primary assignments. They're good depending on who
Yeah.
it is and the physicality. Like let's talk about like even the Celtics Knicks matchup not too long ago. Like Bridges
Okay.
against Jalen Brown is not going to be a favorable matchup to him just because the
Nah.
physicality of Jalen Brown is just going to overpower him, right? But
Hmm.
in a matchup like this, he should be able to take out a little
Yeah.
bit more finesse players. So I'm looking forward to see how he does that. And then look, just forcing BI just to play defense as well because this is a guy who's
For
been
sure. Yeah.
scoring. He has been hyperfish. I'm seriously saying this. It's like
Hmm.
he just needs to just get the like if he gets to the free throw line a little bit more, he's in the running for a 50, 40, 90 type season.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. You're talking about like Bridges right now? Yeah. I mean Bridges. I
Yeah.
mean he's I think the most impressive thing, like again, watching from afar with Bridges, is he has these like really quick fire, like catch and shoot corner threes, or like he'll even be fading into the corners, and it's just like between how like
Quick
quickly
trigger.
he's releasing, how tall he is too, like, and again the wingspan, like those feel like they've always been absolute killers, and I think especially for the Raptors, they'll mostly send 2 guys at Brunson. So if you have like Bridges on the opposite wing right beside him, and that's where like the Raptors will help one pass away. Like they're really not shy about that. As long as Brunson's quick to sort of make that pass out to him, like he can really, really hurt the Raptors from 3. So yeah, I mean Bridges certainly had a lot of good games against the Raptors, and the Raptors as a well, they're not even that like they're not like Nick Nurse, like we're gonna double team the ball all the time, like try to shut down your star player no matter what. Like Darko is different, but Raptors just don't have like a natural matchup. Like we don't have a perimeter defender to like just like, hey, you try to take on Brunson and we'll limit how much help. They're gonna have to send a lot of help, and that's where guys like Derek White, for example, like Raptors just played the Celtics as well. And Jalen Brown, the Raptors were trying to slow down Jalen Brown. I mean, the amount of times he just made one pass away to Derek White to knock down a 3 was kind of the difference in the game. The Celtics had 23s. I mean, surprise, surprise, the Celtics bombed threes, but that is one way to get at the Raps, man.
Oh man. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious to
Yeah.
see if the Knicks are going to be able to continue their hot streak from downtown and, be the flamethrower 3-point shooting team that they can be. All right, let's
Mm.
get to the X factor and wrap
All
this
right.
thing up. Well, X factors. You're the guest. Who's your X factor for the Raptors?
X factor for the Raptors. It's going to be Jamal Shed. Actually, I don't even know if he'll play because he's actually sick, but he
Mm.
changes the energy of this game. He's kind of like the perfect backup point guard that you want in terms of when he's on, he's like swarming the ball, forcing turnovers. Raptors playing a little bit of 2 point guard lineup as well with him and IQ, especially with RJ not in there as well. So, yeah, I know his numbers don't pop off the page, but and he's actually been like a huge game changer for the team. And the second unit really relies on him to sort of generate offense. And it's weird because he's not really like a dominant. He's not even good at scoring, to be honest. But he's very quick at getting into the paint and then making the right passes out. But yeah, he's a defensive pest. I think he actually had a decent game against the Knicks last time too. But he's like the X factor pretty much every game going into the Raptors.
Okay. All right. And and this is for, I'm sorry, the name again is you
Jamal
talking
Shed.
Jamal Shed. Jamal Shed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm also thinking about Sandro. Sandro's also a good guy for
Hey, Sandro's nice too.
Sandro
Sandro's
is
nice
nice.
too. Those are
And
the two biggest threats off the bench for sure.
and Murray Boyles was also because
Mm,
like between those three guys actually had decent games. Jamal Shed
yeah,
not as much like by numbers, but like just defensive intensity as you're talking about. That's a guy who can
exactly.
just
Yeah.
like impact. Yeah, for sure. Um, for me, it's gonna be Mitchell Robinson, man. That's gonna be my X
Okay.
factor for tomorrow's game. You know, if he is able to just impose his will on the offensive glass, this is gonna be a tough time for the Toronto Raptors. So
Yeah.
I'm going with Mitch, man. And you know what? He was about to get some major criticism last game against the Orlando Magic because he's been on a minutes restriction. You know, he's not playing back to backs. Like they're trying to
Mm,
make sure that he gets to April so that way he can just be the force that he was this past postseason in this upcoming postseason. But with how Mitchell Robinson played in Orlando, it's a step in the right direction. He's not moving at lightning pace as you see in the highlights when he was guarding like everyone on the Celtics in that
yeah.
matchup and just gets the steal from Jalen Brown. But he's moving that right direction. And yes, and last game, man, he was just dominating. I mean, dominating. He
Mm,
had, I think it was 8 offensive rebounds in that game, and there was just like a possession where he just got it was a tip drill that he was working and then got the ball back and then still gets the put back at the end of that just like at the end of that possession. So Mitch has been working hard, man. That when
man.
he's on. And if he's grabbing offensive boards, man, it's going to be a tough time for any team to keep in it. So he's going to be my X factor for tomorrow's matchup.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a great pick, man. I thought you were gonna go with Josh Hart too. He almost had a triple double against the Raptors last
You
game.
know, here's the thing, man. Everyone likes to choose Josh Hart as the X factor.
He's too good for X
He's
Factor. I mean,
too good for the X factor, man.
that's true. That's
You know,
true.
shout out to my guy CP, man. CP's like the X factor is X factoring. How can the X factor be X factoring if he's doing it damn near every single time? That's not X factoring,
That's
man.
why he's the X Factor, bro.
He's doing the damn thing every single time, man. And I love Josh Hart for doing it, man. The man plays with a lot of passion, heart, no
Good.
pun intended, or maybe pun intended in this case.
Sure.
But like, look, I can't. There's going to be matchups, man. I'll say it for the postseason. Regular season, he's been doing the damn thing, man, especially as a connector.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Mitchell Robinson. The other option, alternative was Jordan Clarkson because if McBride's not playing, we are certainly going to need some scoring. But I'm going with Mitchell Robinson, man. Going with Mitchell
Yeah.
Robinson. So you're going with Jamal Sheed, and I'm going with Mitchell Robinson. We both chose the defensive route in this case. And yeah, man, that's it. Will, I appreciate you, man. Please let the listeners know where they can find you. And if you got any work up and coming, we should be on the lookout for.
Yeah. You can find all my stuff at the Hello and Welcome podcast. We go live after every game talking about the Raptors, but we also deliver a couple interviews. If you want to check out what do we do this summer? We sat down with Bobby Webster, the Raptors GM, got to know him. He's a pretty secretive guy, but he's actually a friend of ours, so really got to know him. Or just interviews with a lot of the Raptors players. Actually, we talked to IQ. Actually, well, I should have led with that. We interviewed IQ like a month ago.
Nice.
And it was a good chat. IQ's good vibes, man. So he has good people.
He is good people, man. He is a good dude, man. Beloved on this show, man. He has a lot of love in Knicks Nation.
Good.
He got some criticism here too from a certain section of the fan base, but look, man, it's all love. He and RJ, man, get a lot of love just because those two
Good.
guys
I like
were
that.
so instrumental in helping turn this franchise around, man. Nothing but full on respect to those guys, and that's why when they returned after the trade, they got the warm welcome that they totally deserve, man. So I'm gonna go check that one out, man, because I do like IQ on here, and you do great work, man. So shout out to you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Shout out to you and the Hello Welcome podcast. It is a phenomenal follow. So make sure to go check out Will Lou and his work, man. He's been doing the damn thing, covering the Raptors for a minute. So make sure to go follow him. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Okay. We got some super chats in here. Shout out to and Rizzy, shout out to you, man, for the $2 super chat. Shout out to Mellow Mike for being a franchise channel member and the $2 super chat. Shout out to Alex. Let's go Knicks. Let's win tomorrow and make the championship. Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's finally get to the championship, man. We've been getting knocked out in the quarterfinals all the time. Let's finally go the distance, man. Let's not give the Raptors any fodder. Okay, so let's just go out there, do the damn thing. All right. And salute to all the franchise channel members in here, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. Shout out to all the mods. Appreciate you as always. Make sure to support our sponsors. Once again, make sure to support Rula. Okay, make sure to go to rula.com/KFTV and go get, if you need help mentally, get some therapy. Go make sure to go check them out. And then make sure to support our other sponsors, Z-Biotics. Okay, maybe if you guys go out drinking afterwards, look, it's the holiday season, make sure to go to Z-Biotics/KFTV. Get 15% off your first order, so that way you can wake up the next day after a nice night out and keep the grind going, man. So appreciate everyone for tapping in as always. Make sure to support. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter. Yeah, everyone, we'll catch you tomorrow. We got play-by-play tomorrow and post game as